Whether it's developers making completely baffling choices, fans going feral, or CEOs tripping over their own ties. Whether you mean that literally or figuratively, I don't know. Gaming's weird. That's the point. And November is another weird month. And as you know, gameranx gathers up all the weirdness, puts it together, and we have a laugh. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the weird gaming stories of November 2025. Starting off at number 10, Gabe Newell, co-founder of Valve, Gaben, as many call him, took delivery of a custom-built super yacht called Leviathan. It's 111 meters long, ranks among the top 50 largest yachts in the world, requires support yachts, smaller yachts, which service this yacht. The yacht has, among other things, a submarine garage. Let's say you need to dock your submarine with Gaben's yacht. Well, you can. There's also an onboard hospital, 2 gyms, a club with a bar, diving platforms, and a dedicated room with 15 high-end gaming PCs. It turns out servicing the customer makes you a lot of money. Valve tends to screw developers and publishers, but they tend not to screw you, at least as of now. I don't know, it may not last forever, but it worked out well for Gaben. At number 9, Krafton CEO Kim Chang-han allegedly consulted with ChatGPT to brainstorm ways to avoid paying out a promised bonus tied to Subnautica 2's success. As you know, this was a $250 million potential bonus depending on the game's release and performance goals. It was part of the big deal that Krafton paid for Unknown Worlds, the developers of the game. Essentially, as it apparently went, Krafton initiated a thing, which I guess ChatGPT may have titled Project X. I don't really know who titled it Project X. Has a stupid name, though. Sounds like a chatbot came up with it. This was a plan to delay Subnautica 2's early access release or restructure things so the bonus never got paid out. That's what the lawsuit that's going on is essentially over. Originally, he denied the use of ChatGPT, but then admitted to searching ChatGPT for faster answers about their contractual obligations, which is, in my opinion, not a thing that makes you sound sympathetic. I'm not anti-AI. I have no issues with any of this kind of stuff, but once you actually have consequences, you can't trust something that can accidentally make stuff up, for one. Like, that's one of the big things AI can do. It can accidentally make stuff up. I mean, it's not like people don't also do that, but consulting a legal professional at least diverts some liability to a legal professional. If you're checking ChatGPT, that's on you. But more likely than not, a legal professional who actually knows what they're doing is going to do a significantly better job, as is any professional in any consequence-oriented situation. If you're using ChatGPT to, like, organize your schedule or turn a bunch of messy notes that you've taken into like an outline with bullet points and stuff, that's good stuff. Legal advice, particularly when you're talking about legal advice with consequences in the $250 million area, don't use a chatbot. Hey, at number 8, did you know? And this is a big one. This is a shocker. A new Ampere analysis study that covers a whole bunch of different markets with a sample size of 34,428, which is an absurd sample size for any kind of study. Generally, around 1,000 is considered a satisfactory survey size. This is pretty frickin' indicative of what people are thinking, I would guess. And here's a big surprise for you. By a large margin, people prefer single-player games. That's right, people prefer single-player games. We joke with our new subscription membership thing that we're treated like we're only 1% of the gaming public, we who like and prefer single-player games. But we make up over 65% of the gaming public in the United States. In Japan, it's 63. In the UK, it's 58. Other markets follow similar patterns, too. Germany's got 60%, Thailand 62%. That ain't 1%. And yet we're treated that way, aren't we? Honestly, this poll couldn't have come out at a better time, in my opinion. It comes out in November, right when we launch the 1% Club, right when we start the Falcon Show, which is literally leaning on the fact that industries treat us as if there are dozens of us. It's not dozens. Gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It makes so much money. It's ridiculous. And over 65% of people in the United States, the biggest gaming market, people prefer single-player games. And yet they keep doubling down on multiplayer and live service games. It's even more interesting if you look back on previous studies from previous years. That number has gone up. But once you pass 60, you're at a 20% discrepancy between choices. The problem is these people just want all of the money forever. And as you know, that doesn't work. I mean, we've talked so much about this lately. Again, we started the 1% Club for this reason. I am also going to quickly ask you to join it because, man, oh man, if you like the weird gaming videos and stuff, like this is my domain. But my domain is expanded further in the Falcon Show, which is available to 1% Club members. This is the kind of stuff that we care about and talk about there. Myself, Kevin, Eric, we have a great time. And I just want to say, we make sense, we're smart, and so are you. We all know all this live service garbage sucks, and yet they keep doing this. There's numbers that say, hey, if you just make single-player games that people want, they'll buy them. Like, it's the preference. Whatever, I guess money's all that matters. Oh yeah, that's right, we're talking about business people, so yes, money is all that matters. And number 7, Megabonk withdrew from the Game Awards 2025 because it wasn't actually a debut indie. Megabonk, which was a surprise indie roguelike hit that sold 1 million copies in 2 weeks, it got nominated for Best Debut Indie Game. On paper, looks like a classic little engine that could indie success story, but the developer, who goes by Vednad, dropped the mic. He publicly withdrew from the category, admitting it wasn't his first game. He'd released previous titles under different studio names, so technically it wasn't a debut. The withdrawal wasn't forced, it was voluntary. The dev, who signed off as John Megabonk, which I love that, said it felt wrong competing against genuine first-time teams. The show's organizer accepted the decision and officially removed it from the Best Debut Indie Game category. It's almost unheard of for a nomination to be voluntarily pulled like this, and it opens up a bigger debate. What is indie and what is a debut? Here's the thing. I respect the integrity. If your debut is strictly the first game you ever make, no one should ever win Best Debut Game. Let's talk about the Grammys for a second. Almost every single artist who gets nominated for a Best Debut or Best New Band or whatever those categories are called have been releasing music as an indie project for years. Bands, solo artists, whatever. They make songs long before what is considered their debut. It is their major label debut that counts as the thing that gets them into the running for the Grammys, their debut on the national stage. Megabonk had every right to accept that nomination, and indeed, if it won that award, because in terms of being introduced to a nation of people playing games, to a world, in fact, that was absolutely John Megabonk's introduction to the world, his debut. And obviously, if that's what he believes is something he should do, I am behind him 100%. But I want to note, he would have been fine. I will say that is a weird amount of integrity, though. Good on John Megabonk. Moving on to number 6, a super irritating new statistic. Apparently, almost half, 43% of American children ages 5 to 17, say that their top video game request for Christmas is in-game currency, like V-Bucks, Robux, or what have you. Granted, this is not the massive scale of a survey that the preferring single-player games survey was. That was 34,000 people. This was 700 children they polled, but that's still an appropriate sample size to draw conclusions from, with a relatively low margin of error. And I think that it's important to understand this doesn't actually contradict that. I'm sure there is some executive who would be like, oh, well, nearly half of these children want in-game currency for Christmas. That means they surely must love these games more than single player. Well, first off, it's 43%, so it's not a majority. That means 57% of American kids who play games specifically, aren't asking for in-game currency. So at number 5, 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM now costs more than the entire PlayStation 5. This is thanks to an AI demand exerting itself. Now, we aren't talking about a specific set of 64 gigabyte DDR5 RAM. The G-Skill Trident Z5 Neo kit. A lot of consoles cost less. What's happening is that data centers are being built at an increasing rate, both for AI and for other reasons. I think it's probably easiest to just say AI on account. It's one big thing that we all know is expanding quickly. I mean, it's not just the G-Skill Trident Z5 Neo. I mean, it's all RAM. Across the board, it looks like RAM has jumped in price about 171%. In any case, RAM across the board has become more expensive, and whatever kind of RAM the PlayStation 5 uses, it has RAM in it. And this sucks. And number 4, Assassin's Creed Shadows is doing a crossover with Attack on Titan. I don't know why. I know while I was playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, the thought I was having was not, oh man, this is cool, but it'd be way better if Attack on Titan was in it. I also kind of don't hate it. I'm not generally too big on these IP crossovers, especially ones as arbitrary sounding as this, but I kind of want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows with Titans in it to fight the Titans. I don't know why, but that kind of seems like it would be good. It's almost the kind of thing that you would do as a fan mod, except for the actual developers are making it. I don't know. If somebody said, hey, there's a fan mod where they're putting Attack on Titan into Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'd probably say, yeah, bring it on. That sounds fun. I haven't actually gotten any time with it. In fact, I didn't even hear about it until we were doing our Weird Gaming Stories research for the month. Like, that's more than a few people called this weird and synonyms for weird, let me tell you. I mean, honestly, it seems pretty split. Like, there's a bunch of people who actually really like it, and there's a bunch of people who really hate it. And number 3, I feel like every once in a while we have to just say where Star Citizen is, and that functions as a weird story. 13 years in, they've raised $900 million. That's $100 million shy of $1 billion. And this game is still in alpha. This is arguably one of the most expensive video games ever made. I'm sure inflation dings it a bit, but $900 million is $900 million. Whichever way you shake it, is past my ability to understand what it is like living with that amount of money. I think once you pass like $50 million, I can really not imagine it being different. I'm sure it is, but I don't know what I would do with $50 million, so I certainly don't know what I would do with $1 billion. This game's raised $900 million. It's weird when you step back and you say, all right, this is a thing that should not be. The thing is it has been for 13 years now. And number 2, Sandy Peterson, an ex-developer at Ensemble Studios. That doesn't necessarily do him justice. This man has been behind a lot of stuff. He is a legend in the Doom level design category. He designed about half of the levels for Doom and Doom 2. Also worked at id Software during the Quake era. I don't know how many levels he designed for Quake, but he did design levels for Quake. He made a tabletop RPG in the 80s. It's the Call of Cthulhu RPG. He says that Ensemble Studios, who were working on a Halo massively multiplayer online game codenamed Titan, they were closed down because Don Matrick, the man who unveiled the Xbox One, who is most visibly associated with the reveal of the Xbox One, which I feel I don't need to say a lot more about to convey what I'm attempting to say by saying it. He killed Ensemble Studios to preserve a bonus that depended on Xbox's short-term game revenue over 3 years. The development cycle of this game was projected to be another 3.5 years, so any money that this game was going to make was going to be outside of the window for that bonus. And that made the development budget for the game a liability, which endangered his payout. In terms of weird, executive is greedy is not that shocking. But what's weird here is just the sheer confluence of things that are going on at once. Both of these men were involved in so many high-profile things. One for very good high-profile things, and the other guy announced the Xbox One in May of 2013, and by July of 2013 was the CEO of Zynga, the Farmville people, and that was already on its way down, crashed and burned. I'm sure Don's doing fine monetarily. He manages some group asset company of some sort. I don't really know. I don't really care. It's just crazy, all of the various things that are going on here that come together to say an executive was a jerk and literally killed an entire game studio to preserve a bonus payout. And finally, at number 1, Tim Kaine, one of the co-creators of the original Fallout, one of the granddaddies of Fallout. He says in a recently released video that modern games are trying to be everything for everyone and it's killing them. He says that they suffer from design by committee syndrome. And I say, well, thanks for the backup, sir. It's not like this is new information, but this guy is a veteran developer, somebody who is extremely credible, and it's rare to see somebody like him speak so bluntly. That's why I'm calling it weird, because it's certainly not weird in terms of how correct it is. It's very correct. But I would go ahead and even add to it, it's not just that it's designed by committee. The live service thing essentially mandates that you aren't making games for gamers. You're making games for people who don't really understand gaming, and they're naive, and they're more willing to spend money on things that a person playing video games for years is already desensitized to and doesn't give a shit about. Live services also incentivize pandering over gameplay mechanics. People try to act like we won't touch the criticism that they have for whatever game because it is pandering too hard to some demographic that isn't gamers. No, that's like literally live service. If you have a game that sort of preys on somebody's naivety towards gaming, but makes them feel good about some specific thing, whether it be a fandom, a political belief, or even something about them specifically, it's easier to convert that person into a whale, far easier than any hardcore gamer who's been playing for 30 years and has seen us go from Mario to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. No, I think that Tim Kaine is not only correct, but it goes so much further. I do appreciate him speaking up, though, because he's somebody with a degree of gravitas. I feel like we have these polls that are saying, hey, single-player gaming is what the majority of people actually want, and they're still treating us like we're just this tiny little demographic that makes no sense to pay any attention to, because making a full single-player game takes a lot of effort. But so does making a live service game, and you're really playing with fire, gambling, you're playing the lottery with those things. Most of them just fail miserably and the company loses a bunch of money. Whereas if you make a good game and advertise it, people will buy it. It's a business model that works, and we're seeing it works in the indie and AA space. I'm beating a drum at this point. It's nice to have Tim Kaine join the drum line, though. Let's frickin' go, single-player games. Let's take over this next year. That's why we started the 1% Club here on gameranx, by the way. We're attempting to foster a community and make content geared towards single-player games. The Falcon Show is our flagship thing going on over there. If you're interested, check it out. I think you'll like it. If by some miracle you're Tim Kaine and you're watching this video, reach out to us. Holy hell, we would love to talk to you on the Falcon Show. Again, thanks for beating the drum. That's all we got for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. Join the 1% Club. Listen to the Falcon Show. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.